Hi there, my name is Christina Weber and I run a company called Christian Biz Owners on Fire. And today we're going to talk about Stock Life Thursday. And I just lost my little cheat sheet I was going to use here on this video. Today we're going to talk about 3 steps to handle disputes as a Christian business owner. And part of business is handling conflicts, and it's really important to represent yourself well as a Christian. And like for someone like me with a company named Christian Biz Owners on Fire, it's even more important that you represent yourself in a good way, because you are representing Christ to other people. So the first suggestion, a tip, is get everything in writing. Okay, this is a yellow pad. Obviously, you'd want to have a business contract. I would recommend that. Try to spell everything out as much as you can. Like, even as you encounter new things, you might want to include those in your contract, revise it as you go. For example, sometimes I've done trades with people, and one of the things that a lot of times I didn't specify in the contract is by what time certain things need to be done. Well, it's best if it's just in writing and that you go over it with the person so everybody's clear. That's going to eliminate a lot of conflicts right there, because if someone says, well, I didn't agree to that, you can always go back to it, and if it's in writing, it's something they signed and you spelled out to them, it's hard to really argue with that. It is easy to have misunderstandings on that. At a minimum, you want to use email, which is a form of writing. If something changes, it kind of feels silly to pull out the contract and do an addendum, but especially if you're dealing with someone because I think I've gotten in more trouble doing that than with people I don't have a relationship with. So, following up with email and just saying, hey, just wanted to confirm what we talked about today. You're going to be coming out on Tuesday. I'll have the place cleared out so that you can paint or whatever you're dealing with. So again, if you have it in writing, it can, I'll just assume that's okay unless I hear from you. You still have something that you can go back to should there be a dispute of he said this, she said that, that kind of thing. If it's in writing, maybe they didn't respond to that particular email, or maybe they didn't get it, or whatever, they didn't understand it. At least you have a framework of saying, well, this is what I was trying to communicate. And you can speak to it from a very mature, business-like way and non-emotional way. The second tip, in addition to getting everything in writing, is to process. When you do have a conflict, use the biblical model to process it first. It's actually excellent, and it's described, the one I'm referring to is described in Matthew 8:15 through 17. What it does is it walks you through. If you have a problem with somebody, go to them first privately. Don't gossip to other people. Go to them directly. Try to deal with it first. If they won't listen to you, bring a witness. If they won't listen to you, take it to the church. If they still won't listen to you, go through secular means. That's very similar to what you can do in business. As a Christian business owner, you don't need to roll over and agree to things that were not what you agreed to, or they screw you over financially or whatever. Of course, we're always free to model God's mercy. And, even if we're in the right to make a decision just to blow it off and, let somebody have something they really weren't entitled to, that's totally fine. But this gets back to my third point, and that is do not allow other people. Always consider following God's example of mercy, but don't allow yourself to be manipulated. I know someone who had a Christian law firm, and people would call up and they interpret Christian law firm as being free, or that they're entitled to free legal services, and that's not what it is. Just understand, people are going to approach you the way their interpretation of God. So a lot of people see God as a big Santa Claus, the gospel of abundance. They're entitled to all these blessings just because they're a Christian. But that's not really the way it is, and it's a very immature faith. And so they sometimes approach you as a Christian business owner in that way. You're not obligated to do work, forced to do work that you're not getting paid for because you're a Christian business owner. Certainly, it's a good model to, tithe a portion of your time. I know professionally as a therapist, they encouraged us to give away or have a, reduced fee for a certain percentage, just kind of like tithing to give back. And that's certainly recommended, but we don't need to actually enable other people. So if you're going to do something like that, really pray about it. Make sure your motive's correct. really may not be in their best interest for you to give them a freebie. I've found some of the people I've either done trades with or something, where they didn't have to pay for it with cash or whatever, they really didn't value the service as much. They weren't as good of clients. They didn't follow through. And so I'm not going to do that, really. I'm going to do that very limited in the future because I wasn't able to really give them the value as someone that pays for something and really understands the value of it. The other thing, sometimes it can get a little ugly, and then of course you'll get the thing of, well, if you're a Christian, blah blah blah, okay, or all Christians are hypocrites, and you're a hypocrite because you're not doing what I want you to do or whatever. As long as you've prayerfully followed the biblical model, you've done your best to communicate clearly, and you feel at peace with however you've handled that, I really would blow off those kind of comments. I see those really akin to name calling. And I find there are people who really have some kind of a guilt issue about their faith. I think to really call Christians hypocrites and say people who go to church are hypocrites is really a cop-out. I mean, of course there's screwed up people at church. I mean, no one's saying there isn't. But it's just not appropriate. It's just name calling, and I just don't tolerate it. So if someone does that to me, I just completely blow it off. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to be manipulated like that. So the key is, really to bottom line, and business is a school of learning, is you can really avoid many of these problems by seeking to do business with people of good character and integrity, because that's really what it gets down to. You have to trust who you're doing business with, and just because someone's a Christian doesn't mean they're trustworthy, or just because someone's not a Christian doesn't mean they are. But I really look for virtue. That's the way God looks at it. So I would encourage you to really use that as a guide. And I'm finding myself, I'm wanting to, the clients I want, the people I want to do business with are people of integrity and character. And the other people give me a lot of hassles and there's my dog, cause a lot of problems. So really take your time before taking on new clients or new vendor relationships or new affiliate relationships, and really vet who you're working with. It'll save you a lot of time and hassle, and that will affect your bottom line. So you all have a great week. God bless, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.